everyone, I'm Dhruvi and he is Siddharth Brahmbhatt, students of grade 11th of Divyapath School. Welcome to Heroes of Ahmedabad, Season 3, an initiative where we get the opportunity to interact with inspiring individuals who have made a remarkable difference in their field. Today, we feel truly honored to interact with a very special guest, Mr. Suril Udeshi,
Thank you.
a well-known restaurant consultant. He has been into this field for 22 years has helped many entrepreneurs build successful restaurants such as The Basil, Under the Neem Tree, Patang and Mango. He has a remarkable ability to transform Indian and international dishes into exotic vegetarian masterpieces. He has also written books like Fine Dine Restaurant Business Plan for aspiring restaurators. We are really excited to learn from your journey and experiences. Welcome to Heroes of Ahmedabad.
Thank you very much.
So, sir, to begin with, can you tell us about your early days? What first drew you to the world of restaurants and hospitality?
So, as a kid, I grew up in a nice Gujarati family where my mom, my grandmother, they were in the kitchen cooking something great every day. And I always used to wonder that in this small kitchen, how they can curate so many great recipes. And since then, my seeds of coming into the restaurant industry were sown. So when I graduated, I came up with a few ideas that, I want to start something of my own, there were like few concepts in my mind. And ultimately, my childhood where my memories, my nostalgia, where my mom and grandmother experimented a lot with different ingredients, made local dishes, Indian dishes as well as international dishes. At that time, international cuisine was not that famous and there were not many restaurants which served international cuisine. At that particular time, my mom and my grandmother used to take out cookbooks. They bought a lot of cookbooks and they had at their home, and they will make us some great recipes every weekend. So every day, every weekend there were like some amazing dishes made, and that was always there in my mind. So when it came to choosing my profession, that played a very important role, and I think this is my much inspiration. Because of that, I'm into this industry.
Sir, was hospitality always been a selective option, or you initially imagined a different career?
Being into a trader's family, it was always entrepreneurship in my mind. So when I finished my business management, I did it from Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India. So my dad came to me that, boss, now your business management is over. Then now what do you want to do? So during my college days, I had made a project report of a very innovative concept called oxygen bar. So oxygen bar was a crazy concept of back then, we didn't had any CNG buses, and nowadays this ethanol and everything is going on, and that's why the pollution is very less currently. Back then, the city was very polluted, and there was a lot of carbon monoxide in the city. At that point of time, I had thought about this concept. I had read somewhere in the magazine that in Japan there are places where they get you fresh flavored oxygen to breathe in. So you go to such bars and order a green apple flavored oxygen. It will come to your table and you can breathe in, and then you can become fresh and then lead to your office or your home or your party. So I was so keen to start oxygen bars back then, but that was quite a fancy business, and I didn't get proper support. I was not able to get it through, and ultimately it didn't work upon. So that was my first choice of my entrepreneurship, or to start something of my own. But then it didn't work out. But the second one was definitely coming into hospitality industry, because I myself was a big foodie, and back home, as I told you that my mom and my grandmother always cooked me some amazing dishes, which was very inspiring. So then I thought that yes, this can be my industry. So I chose restaurants as my career, and that's how I came into this industry.
As many people don't know what a restaurant consultant really does, what do you actually do beyond menu planning? What are the behind the roles scene you play in helping a restaurant succeed?
Okay, it's a vast subject. So many people say that you are into a very fancy kind of a business where you get to taste a lot of food every day. You can go to your restaurants and enjoy your food without paying any money. But it is more to that. In the back end, it is very complicated. It is lot of complex processes which have to be made together, and ultimately a restaurant comes into the life. So to give you a brief, how it starts by making a menu outline. So menu outline is like the basics of what all you are gonna add in your restaurant. So from that menu outline, so the menu outline becomes the foundation of any great restaurant. From the menu outline, we design the back of the house. Back of the house consists of kitchen. Kitchen consists of equipments. From the equipment planning, the HVAC and MEP is designed. Accordingly, the civil layouts are being presented. And then the other part of the BOH, that is the storage area, the staff dining area, the staff facilities like the bathrooms, and a lot of other things goes into the BOH. So that BOH becomes the soul of any great restaurant. So that is designed by us as restaurant consultants from the menu outline. And further, after the menu outline and the BOH are in place, we help them with the curation of cutlery and crockery. Then we help them to procure staff. The right staff is very important to run a successful restaurant. So after the staff comes in, the cutlery, crockery are in place, the kitchen equipments are in place, we start the journey. We start the food trials. So food trials are done in the kitchen, and after the food trials are done, we help with the service trials. The service trials are done outside in the dining room. So after the service trials, there are guest trials where we invite our guests, the owners, the owners' guests, and the first and near and dear ones. So we do such trials. We help the marketing agencies how to lead the concept forward and finally launch the project. And after launching it, we also help them to run the project, because mostly people who are coming into the restaurant industry are not from restaurant backgrounds. So somebody is a real estate player, somebody is into pharmacy, somebody is into textiles, who have a particular piece of land in a very posh locality, and then they want to start a restaurant. So they need continuous support from us. So as retainers, we also help them to run the project. So this is in the nutshell that how our kind of restaurant consultancy works. So it is that kind of a business.
Sir, was hospitality always been a selective option, or you initially imagined a different career?
That's a very interesting question. So my journey started from starting my own restaurant. So it was a fabulous cafe called Slang. So it started in 2001, and it was all about a hangout place. It was a party place. Back then in 2001 or 2002, when we started our journey, mocktails, continental cuisine, international cuisine was rare. So we came up with an idea of a mocktail bar. A mocktail bar with a restaurant which had a stage where every Wednesdays and Saturdays there were live evenings, live music was played. So on the Wednesdays there was live bands, and on the Saturdays it was live DJs. So back then in 2001, 2002 it was a rage. Immediately we got a fame. So people who were young in 2001, 2002 might know how Slang was, and it was a go-to place for every youngster during that time. So it started from Slang. From Slang, Basil clicked in. So the entrepreneurs of Bawarchi restaurant got me to start a Basil restaurant. From Basil we started Chocolatry. From Chocolatry it was the Grand Bhagwati. From Grand Bhagwati I became a restaurant consultant. So it was a stint of 1.5-2 years when I was a restaurant consultant, and after that I again joined the Grand Bhagwati as a franchise head. So each and every restaurant which I worked in was I played a role of operations manager, somewhere as a working partner, somewhere I was also the partner of the restaurant, and at some place I was franchise division head. So I had played various roles in different organizations, mostly in the management side. So many people call me chef, but I'm not a chef. I am from the management side. I was a dining room guy, a management guy, and all my 12 long years I was there in the industry playing a role from the management side. And I had lot of lessons which I learned during that journey. So to name a few, so the key I should say is hard work. There is no substitute for hard work. Even nowadays there are AI, there is like Google, there are chat GPTs and there are Geminis, but there is no substitute to hard work. So that was the key lesson which I learned. Second is become always edit karwaun sir, remain always innovative, because restaurant industry is such that if you are not innovative enough, you will be thrown from the industry, because every 2-3 months nowadays it is like every month there is something or the other which is shown on your Instagram that this is this innovative concept happening there in the US, sometimes it is happening in the Indonesia, sometimes it is happening in Abu Dhabi. There is always innovation going on. So the first part was hard work, second is always remain innovative, and third is always remain grounded. So even if your restaurants get successful, you have to remain grounded in 2 ways. Grounded in the sense not flying, वो हवा में उड़ना वाला नहीं होना चाहिए, and also always be present as much as you can on the floor of your restaurant, meet and greet to your guests. That is the winning formula for any great restaurant. One-on-one connection always is a win-win for all of us, the restaurant as a professional and for the guests. So these are the key lessons I should say. There are a lot of them, but these 3 are very close to my journey, and I always follow that.
Well, every career comes with its own set of hurdles. What were some of the challenges you faced in the initial years as a restaurant consultant?
Restaurant consulting was actually never in my mind. I was working nicely as an operations manager at one of the organizations called TGB, and it was all going very smooth. But one fine day, an entrepreneur, a real estate guy meets me. I was introduced to him, and he proposed me that I am coming up with 8 good restaurants. Will you help me to start restaurant, all these projects? So, being a Gujarati, and so this part, we have always business in our mind, be it small, but mostly all Gujaratis will like to start their own business in one point of life. So at that time, I grabbed the opportunity and told that, of course, I'll help you to start the restaurants, but this time as a restaurant consultant and not as an operation manager or as a general manager or as a CEO. So that guy got ready, the real estate guy, and that's how I become a restaurant consultant. And during my first project, I got an opportunity to curate 8 great restaurants. Of course, I had a consulting partner with me, but even then, whenever you get a chance to start your restaurant or start your own business, mostly people start with as a smaller scale. But here the scale was to start 8 restaurants, and the staffing was like to recruit 250 people or something like that. So I got that opportunity and I was very excited. So the fees were nice, the project was very appealing. Starting 8 restaurants in 1 year, it was challenging and adrenaline pumping, and it was all what I wanted. Actually, that a lot of power, a lot of innovation was going on, a lot of remaining in the ground and meeting and greeting to the great guests, meeting a lot of new vendors. So everything was going great. So answering to your question that how hurdle came in was as I told you, that 8 restaurants and everything initially started well. So the climax came in when after an year, that project, it was a commitment to hand over 8 restaurants running, and then the next step was to start a hotel with the same real estate guy who was our client. But then he declared that I want to start a hotel, and this project got over after 1.5 years. And during that time, I had grabbed a couple of more consulting projects, but those were not enough to keep us, kicked and motivated enough to run our show as restaurant consultants. So as we started very excitingly, starting 8 restaurants at a time, suddenly we had only 2 restaurant projects which we are curating. and to run my life, to run my journey ahead. Because when the 8 restaurants were going nice, our fees was handsome, and suddenly that project got over and I had no new projects on my hand. So at that time I was in a fix, what shall I do now? So at that time I had to go back to my old employer and ask him to take him to job once again. So it was that kind of hurdle came in, that when you start something of your own, there might be a scenario that after an year you are like jobless, you don't have anything to do. So I had to contemplate, and I actually went back to my previous employer and started working as a manager once again. So that's how.
Considering restaurant consulting is a new and emerging profession, what formal education did you pursue?
So becoming a restaurant consultant, I should say that it was never a profession. There were hardly any restaurant consultant when I started my journey as a restaurant consultant. There were kitchen consultants, there were hospitality consultants, there were hotel consultants, there were property consultants. But when it came to proper restaurant consulting companies, there were, hardly any of them. So I myself, as I say, that I have done my business management from EDI, that is Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India. And because I was passionate enough, I chose restaurant consulting, restaurant as an industry. So I had enough experience of 12-13 years before I came into consulting. But when you ask that what kind of formal education will you need, then I will say that there are no any benchmarks, but what I have created as thumb rule, that if you do a hospitality management course and along with that if you do an MBA, I think it will be great as a platform, it will be great as a foundation to become a restaurant consultant. And provided if you have ample experience in the real life situation, like working in a restaurant as so start climbing the ladders step by step. Like if you are from the management side, then you start by wiping plates and then becoming a steward, then captain, and then becoming an executive and then a manager. And if you are from the production side, you start your journey from a KST, that is the kitchen steward, and then becoming a commie, and then become a commie CDP, and then becoming a sous chef and chef, and then pursue the career of restaurant consulting. But if you are ambitious enough, then taking some experience and becoming a restaurant consultant might also work. But I think a great combination of a hospitality management degree or a diploma along with MBA and some experience, some in the sense at least 5 years experience before coming into actual consulting. So I think that's a great combination to become a successful restaurant consultant.
What personal habits or mindsets have helped you push through hard times?
Habits and basically the nature. So being into the hospitality industry, it always taught me to work really hard, to work long hours, and that was possible because I was basically passionate about hospitality and food. So I think if I was not passionate enough, then I couldn't have given so many hours in a particular day to this profession. So if I should say that what kind of habits somebody has to inculcate when you are into hospitality industry is you will have to give lot of hours. You will have to be disciplined. So, and when you become a restaurant consultant, you are your own boss. So there is nobody to take follow-ups from you. Mostly you are taking follow-ups from other people, right? So you have to be disciplined enough. You have to be a self-starter. You have to be a multitasker. It is that, when we enter any restaurant project as consultants, our scope of services are, into restaurant operations bracket. But sometimes if our expertise is required into marketing segment or the architect meetings, if we have to attend, then we have to. So becoming a multitasker, a go-getter, hardworking, giving lot of time. So I think these are some characteristics, traits, and habits which one should inculcate to become a successful entrepreneur. And bottom, if you are passionate enough, then it will work amazingly well for you. So there are two verticals: becoming a professional and becoming a passionate professional. So I think passionate professional will help you inculcate those habits.
So, when you are developing a new restaurant, what comes first in your mind? The menu, the theme, or the overall experience?
So when we start a restaurant journey with our client, so the client himself has a lot of ideas. So whether it is from his travels, from whether he has his own idea about some recipes. Nowadays, millets are going crazy. So some clients have approached us that can we start a millet-based restaurant? So when you asked about whether the restaurant has a menu-based focus or locality-based focus or theme-based focus, I should say that it can be everything. So, but I think when we enter any restaurant consulting project, our main inspiration are the entrepreneur's thoughts. So to give you an example, we started a project called Rang that is located in Ahmedabad. It is a proper fine dine Indian cuisine restaurant. It is a wonderfully done 30-seater diner where the owner had an ambition to give something great to the city of Ahmedabad, because there are a lot of premium family diners and there are a lot of economy diners, there are a lot of cafes, there are a lot of bakeries. But this entrepreneur always wondered that why Indian cuisine can't be fine dine, why Ahmedabad doesn't have a fine dine restaurant. So that inspired us. If there might be other person, he might have said that boss, 30-seater restaurant might not work, the turnover will be less, who will come to a 30-seater diner? So but we grabbed the opportunity that this is a great idea, and I also met my team, and my team was also that boss, 30-seater mein kya hi hoga, what can we do out of a 30-seater restaurant? But then it was our joint vision where we decided that let's make the best Indian fine dine restaurant of the country. And we are on the verge of doing that. In the back end, we have already set the operations very right, and the restaurants are going amazingly well. So ultimately, to answer your question, it is not only about menu or theme, it is about a lot of things. So, and the foundation is entrepreneur's ambition and his thought process.
Were there any key mentors or influences who have guided you in your initial years?
There were many. So initially, as I said, that my inspiration to enter into the industry was my mother and my grandmother. Mother and my grandmother, and I have seen a lot of chefs, a lot of restaurateurs who have been inspiring me through all my journey of my restaurant career. So when I was in my initial days, there was only one celebrity chef, and he was Sanjeev Kapoor. So Sanjeev Kapoor was the only person of India who was talking about food, who had started his own restaurants, and so in my initial days, Sanjeev Kapoor was my inspiration. When I started my career, it is not only about chefs and the restaurateurs who were my inspiration. Also, my guests who used to come to dine in at our place were my inspiration. They will come up with some great ideas of innovations and how can I maneuver in this industry, what all is lacking in this industry. They will talk to me because, and in my slang days when I used to run my cafe slang, I used to be a bartender by myself. So I have to make mocktails. I love to do that. And for like say noon 3 p.m. till 11 p.m. I was behind the bar counter and used to make mocktails. And a lot of people will sit at the bar counter and discuss recipes, discuss great concepts. And so those were my inspiring days, I should say, where I got a lot of new ideas about the future journey of my career. And then I met my boss of TGB, Narendra Somani, who was my mentor, and I learned a lot of things from him, like the hard worker, passionate about food, coming up with great new ideas, and of course, coming up with ideas and executing it as well. So there are a lot of people who, there are many talented people who have great ideas, but they are not good executors. So this guy taught me that, whatever you think, execute it immediately. And till date, I execute ideas like that. Then, for example, we have just implemented tote bag mocktails at Mango and under the neem trees, which I saw on Instagram. And one fine day I decided that, boss, this is happening within 3 days. So the entire operations was saying that from where will you procure this tote bag glasses? From where will you get all the ingredients to make innovative mocktails? But that inspiring journey with Narendra sir at TGB, I always think about it. Idea hai, immediate execute karo. Because I had learned from my EDI days, my professor Ram Kumar always used to say that whenever an idea comes into your mind, if you don't execute right now, somebody is executing it after 2 minutes. So if you have any idea in your mind, you have to execute it right away. Otherwise, it's getting old immediately. So, such were the inspiring days, inspiring people. Even now, I get inspired by a lot of chefs, a lot of restaurateurs like Will Gidera. Will Gidera is an amazing hospitality magnate who ran a restaurant called 11 Madison Park. So he always wanted to become #1 restaurant of the world. So his journey was, one fine day there was an award of 50 best restaurants of the world, and his restaurant was included, and his restaurant was the 50th best restaurant of the world. And he was there on the stage to receive the award, but he was not very happy. So his team asked that, boss, we are in the list of 50 best restaurants of the world. Why aren't you happy? So he had to say that still we are the last one in the list. So this kind of inspiration that guy gave me, that why are we not first in the list? We are the last one in the 50 best restaurants of the world. So then he made it sure that he has to be #1, and he actually made it happen. And for many years consecutively, he was there in the 50 best restaurants of the world, #1 for many consecutive years. So till now, I'm getting inspired by a lot of them. I get inspired from my existing clients, my clients of at Mango, Vinod Bhai Patel, and there are many clients like Shabir Bhai of Pihu Bagh, whose journey started from being a steward at Holiday Inn before 45 years, and now he runs 8 great restaurants across Gujarat. So I mean, these guys are like inspiring me, and inspiring me big time to do something great for the industry.
Day by day, so many restaurants come with unique concepts. Do you adapt into your strategies?
Indeed. So if we don't, then we become obsolete, right? So even like phones like iPhone, Samsung, every 2-3 months they have new features and they'll ask for an upgrade. So in the same way, it is for us. It is with our life, with our profession, and it's a way of life. If you are not innovative enough, and if you are not listening to your guests, not listening to the atmosphere outside, then I think you will become obsolete. The same happened with the automobiles, right? Some automobiles were carrying their journey with the gear wala scooters, and suddenly another automobile came in with gear-free scooters, and still the old guys thought that, boss, these are like a fad and it'll go away. But ultimately, the gearless scooters are, every 3 months they innovate, and that's how they are in the market. In the same way, we have to imbibe lot of great things happening in the market. There are a lot of innovations happening in the entire world, and Ahmedabad is a food heaven. Ahmedabad has great foodies, and Ahmedabadis are travelers. And now when we are spreading wings outside Ahmedabad, that is when we talk about Gujarat. Even post-lockdown, the scenario of traveling has changed. And not only Gujarat. So I was recently visiting USA. I found that people from Andhra, people from Rajasthan, people from Madhya Pradesh, Uttarakhand, of course Gujaratis are always there. Everybody were traveling to the US as tourists. Somebody is working there. So they are posting a lot of things on the Instagram. They are coming back home with a lot of ideas. They are missing a lot of things which they enjoyed there abroad. If they are visiting Singapore, they want to eat a nice Asian pot meal in their favorite restaurants. So pot meals have to be added in your restaurants. Otherwise, they will feel out of place. That boss, you don't have pot meals in your menu. And for example, nowadays it's a concept of Peruvian cuisine. So now Peruvian cuisine is getting very famous in the US, in the UK. So then we have to add that in our menu. And we also love doing that, people expect when they come to our restaurants and they ask for that, do you have a vegan sushi? And then we proudly say that of course we have introduced that 4 months before. So that's how, if you introduce such innovative menus which people ask for, and if you have it in the menu, then you keep going on and you are above the edge.
How do you approach creating unique restaurant concepts for different clients?
So as I told you that when we start a project, we take a brief from our clients that what kind of project, restaurant you are thinking about. So then they say that you guys are restaurant consultants, you suggest us concepts. So when it comes to restaurant consulting, my forte is in the segment of premium family dining. And why it is my forte? Because in my entire journey of 22 years of hospitality sector, I have played around with lot of concepts, whether it is cafe, being a hangout place, being running clubs, or running fine dine restaurants, casual dining restaurants, banquet restaurants. Out of all those formats, I have realized that the success formula and long term, if you are thinking of serious restaurant business, what has worked for me and what has worked for my clients is like premium family dining concept. But when we come up with different concepts, it is like depends on which locality you are, what kind of client you are playing with. Sometimes your client has specific demand. When we say that, boss, premium family dining will earn you a lot of money, then the client has to say that, okay, fine, premium family dining, let's start it. But still, I had something in my mind that I want to start a sushi diner, or I want to start something on basis of American cuisine. So that's how then we brainstorm, we sit with our team, and because we have to make it economically viable also. Because sometimes when it is when it comes to food, when it comes to design, or when it comes to architecture, nowadays there is Pinterest, nowadays there are Instagram, everybody comes with a picture that we want something like this. But you have to see the practicality, you have to see whether it is scalable, whether it is economically viable. Because one fine day, after 3 months, 6 months, if it is not showing positively on your finances, if it is not profitable enough, even if you are a billionaire, even if you are a trillionaire, if you are not earning money, then one fine day you will get tired. So when we are curating concepts, we keep in mind the innovations, we keep in mind that what next 20 years will look like, so before, for example, if you say that 20 years before, when it came to pizza, it was like a bhakri pizza, or in ancient days, before like say 15-20 years, it was like pizza ka base, uske upar ketchup jaisa sauce and grated Amul cheese and bake it. And in current trends, it is like in between we are thin crust pizzas, and now there are Neapolitan crust pizzas in the market, and then there are like pizza Roman style. There are a lot of pizza in there. So now we have to keep it in mind that how will my next 20 years of my business look like? Who are my actual clients, who are my actually the guests. So sometimes when we are deciding that what kind of theme we want to put it in our restaurant, sometimes it may not look very cool, but we also have to think whether it will be economically viable for a longer period of time, whether your client will earn money out of it, or it will just become a fad and after 6 months it will die. So it is a very complex situation when we are deciding a theme, the menu of any particular restaurant.
Can you share a standout moment of your career when you realized the impact of your work?
Okay, so I'm still on the journey of being a very successful restaurant consultant, but over a period when my restaurants were flocked by a lot of good guests and I see a lot of patrons coming back to my restaurants, I have seen some guests who are like, they are visiting my restaurants 2 times in a week. Every day there is a waiting outside my restaurants, and I should say touchwood, but mostly all of our restaurants see a waiting list every day, whether it's a rainy season, whether it's a Diwali, or whether it's a working day or a weekend. So that is a matter of pride, and I always look forward that it remains for still a longer part of my life.
Are there any industry leaders or chefs who have influenced your style of philosophy or consulting?
So as I told you that restaurant consulting is very new as a profession, but yeah, Will Guidara is my inspiration, and I constantly read about him. I watch his podcast often, and I should say that Will Guidara talks about hospitality a lot, and it is not only about restaurants hospitality he talks about. His philosophy is hospitality has to be shown in every business. Now when you go to bank, or you go to a petrol pump, or you go to somebody's home, even there hospitality plays a very important role. So such kind of inspiration he provides, that if he says that hospitality has to be shown in any business, so of course restaurant has to show the best of the hospitalities, right? That's how.
Is there any dream project or restaurant you want to bring life someday?
Yes. So talking about Indian cuisine, Indian cuisine has to be made famous across the world. Right now, when we go to other countries, it is like mostly the Indian restaurants are in the concept of mom and pop business formats. So they are not properly organized. The magnitude of Indian restaurants is still to be explored in the world. When we talk about chains like McDonald's, Subway, Domino's, such brands for Indian restaurant is still to be curated. So I envision that one fine day, before I get retired, I want to retire. I don't want to get retired till I die. But then before I retire, I want to see that we produce one great chain of Indian cuisine which is famous across the world.
Now social media is everywhere and has made a big impact in everyone's life. How do you think social media influences a restaurant's success today?
Definitely, restaurant influencers are playing a big part. So let's talk about the platform first. When it comes to Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, so they have been the game changers when it comes to restaurant marketing. So when we talk about restaurant marketing, so a restaurant has very low budgets when in comparison to other businesses when it comes to marketing. The budgets of restaurants, so restaurant business is a very operation heavy kind of a format. So some businesses might be investment heavy, capital expense heavy business, and some businesses are operating expense heavy business. So restaurant business comes into operation expense heavy kind of a format. At that point of time, if you want to shell out like say 5% marketing budget or 10% marketing budget, it is not that easy. So when it comes to Instagram and when it comes to influencers, they play a great role, because before Instagram and before restaurant influencers, it was about radio, it was about newspapers, and it was about hoardings. So they were all very, very expensive. But when it comes to Instagram and influencers, if your product is great enough, you have to spend less amount of money and your food can become viral across the world. And you might have seen a lot of examples. There are a lot of examples like some restaurants run because an influencer posted that reel so well. That there are a few chai walas or a few street food guys. For them, people have traveled hundreds of kilometers to enjoy that particular food. So that is the power of the food influencers, the restaurant influencers. But then also some influencers take disadvantages of it. well, they go to the restaurants, and if they want free food, they say that, I am an influencer, so if you don't give me free food, then I'll post bad reviews. But day by day that is reducing. But initially people had faced such things, but now people are getting ethically strong, and but ultimately I should say that food influencers are playing a big role in restaurant success.
If a teenager like us wants to enter your shoe, what would you suggest?
I should say that during your school days, try to be more disciplined, try to be a little more hardworking. You should be ready for long hours of work, and of course, the degree of hospitality management and MBA will work wonders if you want to become a restaurant consultant. So if you want to enter a hospitality industry as a manager or a chef, then a hospitality degree will do. And then taking proper experience at some great restaurants or hotel projects will help you a lot. So if you want to enter into a restaurant industry, particularly standalone restaurant, has a big opportunity in coming 20 years. Because people do ask me often, or ask anybody has that question, that what all business AI cannot eat up. So I think restaurant industry is such a business where it will not get too much of online or too much of AI. People still be wanting to go to restaurant industry even if AI will take it over. If you want to celebrate your success, if you want to celebrate with your family or anything, AI will not be able to help you with great food and experiences. You still will have to go to a restaurant, right? So restaurant has a big career scope, whether you become a restaurant consultant, a chef, or a manager or a director of restaurant. If you want to go to if you want to choose hotels as your career, then you better take experiences in hotel. But when you want to join into culinary business or restaurant business, then when you are doing hospitality management, and if you want to do internship, then don't choose hotels, choose internship in restaurants, which are very successful.
If a young entrepreneur came to you today with the idea of opening a restaurant, what would be the 3 most important pieces of advice you would give them?
Firstly, restaurant business, like any other business, is not easy. So it is not that it is very difficult. So many people have come to me and said that your industry is too tough. Whenever they ask me that or tell me that, I always counter question that which industry is easy. There is, every industry has their own sets of toughness and own sets of beauty, right? So whenever somebody comes to me to start a restaurant, so there are different formats of restaurant. When sometimes it is QSR format, sometimes it's like huge premium family dining concept, sometimes it is cloud kitchen. So my forte being a premium family dining restaurant, I ask my clients that if you have your own piece of land or your own property, that will be giving you an upper edge, because there are no rentals. Even if there are rentals, they are notional. You don't have to actually pay rents. So firstly, I will suggest that if you want to start your restaurant, you should have your own real estate. Second, you should be passionate about the industry of restaurants. Sometimes people come into the industry watching other restaurants कि यहाँ तो रोज वेटिंग लगती है, तो चलो अपने भी ऐसा कुछ चालू कर देते हैं. No, then that is not your cup of tea. Firstly, it is your real estate. Second is you should be passionate about the industry, and third, that you should be able to spare time for the business. You should not think like एक साइड में रेस्टोरेंट चालू कर दिया है, पापा का तो केमिकल्स का बिजनेस है, तो मैं तो वहाँ बैठूंगा, साइड में रेस्टोरेंट चलता रहेगा, संडे को राउंड मारने जाऊंगा. नो, then it will not work for you. It is always about then people will also ask me, then why have we kept you as a consultant? When you are there, why have to come there? So we always say that if you give birth to a child, you will not leave him to the nurse, right? You will always attend him or her. So in the same way, if you are creating a baby like a restaurant, you should attend it well. I mean, at least 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening. Every day you should visit. Initial days, of course. And then the frequency can be reduced. So 3 things. 1, great real estate which you possess. Second is passionate. And third is giving time. If you cannot do that, then restaurant is not your business.
Ahmedabad is often called food heaven of India. In your view, what makes the city's food stand out and remain unique compared to other cities?
The story goes long before in the days of the kings. So when we say that Delhi had Red Fort and outside the Red Fort there is Chandni Chowk, in the same way Ahmedabad was ruled by kings, and outside their palaces there was a market, the shoppers market and the food market, and nowadays it is called Manek Chowk and Rani Ka Hazira. So the journey of foodies and the food culture is that old. And then the street food culture was always there, and Gujaratis were always travelers, and Gujarat also, you might know, has a big coastal region. So we had lot of trade ties. So people from Africa, people from European countries, people from Arabian countries used to frequent our place a lot. So when it comes to Ahmedabad and Gujarat, so when it comes to Surat, it was a very important port at that time. So we had trade ties with Burma. So for example, the Burmese khause, what we eat, the similar thing is available in Surat streets called khausa. So such is the journey of the food, which has carried on since many decades and many centuries, I should say. So since then, India was, Gujarat was into travels because of trade, and in the later phase, people become traveler because they were connoisseurs of travel, because they were connoisseurs of food. So they brought in lot of influence of making great recipes, eating nicely, eating well. So restaurants flourished, and that's how the Ahmedabad as a culture of food has thrived. So in the initial days, when I was during my young days, there were Gujarati diners which were very famous, like Purohit Dining, Payal Dining Hall. So those were very famous, and then came the trend of eating South Indian food. So then eating South Indian food was considered cool. That Gujarati restaurant में बहुत गए, अभी South Indian में चलते हैं. And then the Chinese food came in, the Indo-Chinese one, Then there were like Indo-Chinese food which became famous. Then the chaat came in. The chaat became very famous. Then it was like nicely done premium family diners where Indian food, chaats and Indo-Chinese food was available, along with Indo-continental baked macaroni and pineapple kind of formats came in. So, and then people become more travelers and visiting Michelin star restaurants, and then people wanted more finer cuisines, and then the era of finer restaurants, having great coffees and everything started. And that's how the culture of food developed in Ahmedabad. And Ahmedabad is not as big as Delhi, Bombay or Bangalore, but still the culture of food was always top notch. Even people from Bombay, when they come to our cities, they will always say that boss, aapke jaisa food to Bombay mein bhi nahi hai. But then all those things, the decades old the stories which we have created about food, of the travels, of the ports, and coming back to the current scenario where people are the travelers and enjoy great food. So ultimately I should say the guests and the people who are actually consuming food, they have made our city full of great restaurants. So it is resonating the city Ahmedabad, the citizens of Ahmedabad, and what you see is the reflection of the citizens of the city.
It's often said that in Ahmedabad, the first 6 months of a restaurant, it enjoys hype and popularity, but later the buzz fades. Your projects have been very successful, like Under the Neem Tree and Mango. How do you make sure they remain successful?
It's an amazing question, and I have also found it after a lot of hard work and a lot of research that when a restaurant starts, everybody has a lot of enthusiasm. Right from the entrepreneur, he has a lot of capital with him. Consultants are all because he has procured he has grabbed a new project. The chefs, because they are hired new, they are all fresh that यहाँ मैं जोरदार काम करूँगा. The management side, they are having a new uniform and they are uptight. Cutlery, crockeries are up fresh, and there is no compromise in their offerings. So what happens after the 6 months? A lot of things. So sometimes entrepreneurs becomes complacent. The restaurant तो चल ही रहा है ना. So then they stopped innovating. some chefs give them new ideas, consultant comes with some great innovations, they'll say that नहीं restaurant अच्छा ही तो चल रहा है यार, क्या ये सब करने की ज़रूरत है. So they stop listening to their chefs, stop listening to the restaurant consultants. जो जैसा चलना है चलने दो, सब profit घर ले जाना है. So at that time, you stop innovating, and so that can be one of the reasons. The other reason is the focus of the operations gets a little haywire. That sometimes entrepreneurs think that अभी तो रेस्टोरेंट बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है, लेकिन वी फील दैट देयर इज दिस रेस्टोरेंट इज ओवर स्टाफ्ड, कैन वी रिड्यूस 5-6 people from the restaurant, the staffing and all. So sometimes, for example, people who the employees who resign and go away, they are not filled with another people in the restaurants. Sometimes that happens, that the restaurant is run with lesser people after 6 months. Sometimes it also happens that the senior chefs or the senior executives leave the organization because of some reason, and then a similar profile is not hired, but a junior is hired to that position who is not well deserving. So then people might feel that when we came to a restaurant 3-4 months before, the things were amazingly well, but now we feel that there is a little bit of compromise, because the jobs are not filled too well after the 6 months. But when we think other way around, why the restaurants thrive even after 6 months, and they go on till like 3-4 years and go on till 10 years, and still there is waiting outside the restaurant every evening? Why that happens? Let's consider that. It happens because the entrepreneurs are very focused. Even if it is their side business, they will do whatever it's need to be done. So when their chefs go away, they immediately replace with another chef and not rely on the juniors to handle the senior management position, whatever they are doing. Whenever the crockeries get chipped, it is replaced immediately with the new crockeries. Definitely questions will be asked that why a lot of breakages are happening, but questions have to be asked. I mean, enough work has to be done that crockeries should break less, but if they have broken, then it has to be replaced with fresh crockeries, right? The cutleries might fade out. There might be cutleries which have been scratched. I mean, when you handle the cutlery of an older restaurant, in some restaurants which they don't give enough focus, तो वो cutlery पूरी it is with lot of scratch and the sheen has gone away. But in good restaurant, they'll always do buffing, they'll bring in new cutleries, they'll come up with new ideas. There are like seasonal menus coming into the place. Every year they will change the a la carte menu. So that's how the restaurant has to be kept fresh every year. I should say every month, and I should say every day. So that's how, the restaurants keep afresh, and there are still successful even after 8-9 years. And as I told you, that the focus is so after 6 months have to be kept. So in a nutshell, I should say that even after 6 months, an entrepreneur or a consultant or the executive might feel that this is my first day of my restaurant. That kind of power you should bring into the restaurant. Only then, even after 6 months, your restaurant will survive. Otherwise, 6 months and maximum after 3 years, your restaurant will die if you are not handling it too well.
From your perspective, how the Ahmedabad's dining culture has evolved over the years?
I answered that question in the last question, but still I will like to answer it in more elaborative manner. That as I said that the journey is centuries before, where Gujaratis were travelers. There were a lot of trade travelers who frequented Gujarat because of the big coastline. I'm sure that you guys know that Gujarat boasts of the highest coastline of the entire India, right? So because of that, the food culture started, exchanging of cultures, exchanging of food recipes. So it is often said that samosa is not Indian. Samosa has come from the Arabic culture. And also then we have inspired a lot of countries like Africa, like Arab. When you go to Dubai or Abu Dhabi, they eat naan. They eat our lababdars and kadai paneer in their cuisine, because it is like give and take. So that culture has been following since many years, many centuries. That Gujaratis have been foodies all through their journey of their lives. And now coming to this point of time in when we are standing in 2025, so now we are playing with molecular gastronomy, and there are a lot of Gujaratis who are becoming chefs by themselves because of their passion. People are coming into the industry, starting their own restaurants. So previously, right now, your teacher asked me that who all are into this industry. Are there a particular community? Are there a particular caste who are into this industry? But then I answered them that people who are foodies, people who are passionate, people who have their own piece of land are starting the restaurant. So such is the love for food, that is not only restricted to eating good food, but people are also coming into the food industry. People of Gujarat are investing into the food industry of the US, of other countries also. So that's how the culture of food has been.
We have heard that location can make or break a restaurant. So, what factors do you consider helping your clients choose a perfect spot for their restaurants?
As I told you, as a restaurant consultant, my forte is premium family dining segment. So I always ask my client that if the restaurant size has to be big, I suggest my clients that you should have your own piece of land or own piece of shop in a great building or the infrastructure wherever you want to start your own restaurant. If you want to take it on rentals, then it has to be a strategical decision. So either you can ask the landlord to become a partners in profits, or choosing a land in a strategy where if it is on the high street, proper high street, then the rentals are too big. So if you consider a piece which is in a posh locality but not on the high street, maybe in the by lane, so that can be a great decision. So our kind of formats like premium fine dining or premium family diners, when people come to our restaurants, they plan when they come to a restaurant. It is not impulsive. Some formats of restaurants are very impulsive. They have to be properly on the high street. For example, bakery. For example, a coffee shop or a hangout place. Whenever you are passing by, you think that, boss, let's go to this particular restaurant. But when it comes to a premium family dining restaurant, it is pre-decided. Before 2-3 days, anybody who wants to keep a party of 20-30 people, they will make a plan that let's go to this particular restaurant after 3 days. Let's invite people and then go. At that particular point of time, if you are not on the high street, that's fine. You have to be there in the posh locality of your city, but not necessarily on the high street. It can save you on the rentals. But coming to my first point, if you have your own real estate, that's the best location you can choose in. If you don't have your own real estate, then choose a posh locality. If it is high street, then it is fine. But if it is not high street and it's a by lane, then still it is workable and we can make a great successful restaurant.
If you would go back in time, what's the one thing you would change in your journey?
I always think that if I would have done hotel management or taken a hospitality degree, it could have always helped me better. But now, I have moved forward. It's been 22 years into this industry, and there are lot of chefs and lot of managers who are working with me, working under me, who are hospitality graduates. So now I'm totally fine. But when you ask me that if I could correct my journey of my life, then yeah, while doing my hospitality management or after that or before that, if I could have done a hotel management course, then I would have loved it more.
Other than your restaurant, when you enter it, what's the first thing that you notice? And if it's not right, do you think to fix it?
Okay, so let's divide this question into two parts. Whenever I enter my kind of restaurant, the projects which I am handling, how will I behave? So when I enter a restaurant, I enter from the main entry, from where the guest enters, and sometimes I enter from the back area. So when I enter from the main entry, then I see that whether everything is fine, I am welcomed well, and I see the misa, that is the scenario when I'm entering. Is it fresh enough? Everything is in place. Whether the planters are watered enough, whether all the aesthetics and the little things are placed well. And when I see whether the dining hall is properly air conditioned, the temperature is kept well, the music is playing rightly. And as I told you that I'm into this industry since like quite some time, I get that vibes that whether everything is going fine or not. So if I get the vibes, if they are not well, then I'll firstly meet my manager or the chef that boss, everything is good. So when I ask that, most of the times I get the right answer that yes sir, everything is good. And sometimes it is not, then immediately they'll say that sir, everything is good, but this has happened. So mostly whenever I enter my projects, it starts from meeting my seniors, senior management team, and asking them the right questions. So that is your answer for my first part. Whenever I enter my project, it is handled like that. And whenever I enter other restaurants which is not handled by me, even if I'm greeted well and I'm seated well and the food is great, then I give them good reviews. But sometimes the experience is not that great, then generally I avoid giving bad feedbacks or reviews, because I know that being into the restaurant industry, it is a people's industry, right? It is not a computer oriented industry. Sometimes it is not a great day for a restaurant. So sometimes the people standing on the podium might not be feeling that great to wish me in a nice manner, or sometimes I am wished coldly, or sometimes I am not wished. People are busy nowadays watching reels, and I enter a restaurant, but that's fine, even sometimes we get busy watching reels during our work time. So in that way, that person might also have been, maybe he was bored of his job. Restaurant industry is quite monotonous for junior level people, so sometimes he might have missed to wish me. Sometimes when I'm sitting in the restaurant, I'm not served very well, the sequence of service is not that great, but then I have also passed through similar journey where it was not every day a good day. So I always think like that today is not a good day for that restaurant, and I will always feel that other people might be having a great time. Even I have had a great time in that restaurant, but this particular day the service was not that great, or the food is not coming on time, or probably the food is not cooked well, or sometimes there is a hair in your food when we go to other restaurants. I have experienced all of that, but still I will not complain. And sometimes the manager will come on the table and ask that, sir, how is your experience today? I will still say that everything is good, because as I told you that it is humans have errors always. We are not computers. Even computer makes error, right? And they get hanged. So this is my philosophy, that when I go to other restaurants, I will make it sure that I will never give bad feedbacks. So when sometimes my friend who is a restaurant owner, and he will chase me that, boss, you tell me that what was your bad feedback which you had in your mind, at least one thing you have to tell me. Then only, I don't remember any day that I have given bad feedbacks at any other restaurants when I go in. Most of the times I enjoy.
Few successful restaurants in Ahmedabad are being run by the third generation, even though the areas are limited. So what do you think this is keeping them ahead from the new fancy restaurants?
There are a few things which keeps them going on. The one basic thing is they are carrying on the tradition. So your teacher was giving me an example of Chandra Vilas Fafda and Jalebi. So then they have a big heritage and big history where even Mahatma Gandhi has dined in, right? So at that place, any tourist will like to visit. Whether it is a small or big, it doesn't have any, it doesn't matter at all. So places like Chandra Vilas or now, so that is a great example where they don't need a bigger space or bigger experience. Fafda Jalebi and the history of who have dined in at that place, definitely, that carries a big value, and that is an attraction enough where tourists and people wants to frequent that place. So that is one of the reason why these kind of small places are working in. And there are other examples also. When you come to the other part of the cities, there are a lot of third generation people who are like bootstrapped from their own budgets. They have started their own restaurants. They have started their own singular cuisine restaurant, and they are working fabulously well. So there is a place called Lolo Rosso. It is working wonderfully well. It is run by my friends who are doing the job greatly, because they have come up with an innovative concept of bowl meals, and people have copied right, left and center. But these guys were innovators, and they are doing their job very well. So talking about their concept, everything which is served in a bowl, and that bowl is decorated so very well. So everybody will like to visit that restaurant. Whether they are providing experience or not, their food itself speaks a lot. So such concepts works very well. There are a lot of coffee shops, there are a lot of pizza diners who are like spread across 2000 square feet or 3000 square feet. But their Neapolitan crust pizza is done so rightly. Their tiramisu is so up to the mark that then experience will not matter. The experience of water bodies and gardens at that particular point of time will not matter. The food is the key at that particular restaurant. But then I always feel that when you are celebrating with your group of family or group of corporates, or you want to make your business friends, you want to impress them, then you will mostly always bring them to a great experiential diners rather than the singular cuisine. They are running very well, that's great, but this is my opinion, that when it comes to treating like say a group of 20 and 30, you will not go to those small diners. You will always choose a great experiential diner. Yeah, that way.
Has it ever happened with you that a client came up to you with a weird idea which you don't agree with it? So how do you deal with that situation?
We take it very positively. Initially, it will give us a setback that boss, whether it will run or not. But sometimes, now our clients are the third generation entrepreneurs. So, for example, we have recently done a project where somebody wanted to do a kiosk which served global street food and Indian street food. So previously we thought that we are into premium family dining segment. Why will we do kiosks, right? But then we have to try, because these guys are reflecting the city, the clients, the people who are gonna be foodies for a longer period of time, for the next 20 years. So if we don't consider, if I still continue with my set of knowledge is like the 20 years experience which I have. But then now the entrepreneurs, they have studied abroad and they are the futuristic guys. They are thinking about the next 20 years. Even we are thinking about that. Then we resonate that yes, this will be, this will help us, to get newer clients, to get us the Gen Zs and the newer generations. So then we definitely take it very positively. We work, we research, and then we execute such project, and they are getting successful. And also I gave example of Rang, right? It's a 30-seater diner. So when these guys come up with a vague idea that we want to create, this much shop we have, 30-seater, and we want to become a very successful restaurant. Here we are curating restaurants which are like 400 seaters, restaurants which are like 125 and 200 cover restaurant. But then we have to take that challenge and we have to make it successful, and we are doing that right.
So while researching, we got to know that you went to a US trip and you are consulting overseas also. So what is the one most major difference between the Indian restaurant and the overseas restaurants?
So, I saw a lot of differences in Indian hospitality as well as there in the US. There are pros and cons of both the countries. Here, I think that Indian hospitality is an epitome of hospitality, because we still have, the culture of Atithi Devo Bhava. It was always there in our culture. So back there in the US, everybody is educated, everybody is kind of, hospitality is limited, that the food will come on your table, you will have to serve by yourselves. Meet and greet happens, but it might not be very warm. While here, when we go to our kind of restaurant, the similar formats, where you go to the US, you go to our restaurants, here the entry where the welcome will be warmer, the service will be more elaborate, and even the cuisine, when we talk about our cuisine, is elaborate and we absorb the cuisines of the world very well. So I think pointing out one difference in the cultures of hospitality, I cannot, but there are a lot of it. Okay, when we talk about Indian cuisine restaurants there in the US, they need a big makeover. So if you want to dine in like a premium family diner here in India, and the same experiences if you want to have it in the US, you will have to spend a lot of money. So if you want to spend such money which you spend in India, and if you go to US diners, the experience will be very normal, or I should say average, because there are different factors. The manpower is considerably costlier. You get lesser manpower to cook Indian food. So, but then because of those reasons, now we have been called there as consultants. We are helping many restaurants to perform well, to give as great hospitality as you get in India, and we are trying to make that happen. That Indian hospitality is similar in the USA also. But there are we cannot compare. It is like not comparing apple to apple. The hospitality culture in India and in the US is very different, very different.
Your book, Fine Dine Restaurant Business Plan. What inspired you to write it?
There are few reasons I wanted to write that book. It is still to be launched because the nitty-gritties are still into. I'm still finishing that book. But I have written that book to make people aware that restaurant industry, like any other industry, has to be put a lot of efforts, and like any other industry, it can be a main business. Many people think that restaurant industry cannot be, a mainstream. Nobody can take it as a main business. If it is a side business, then it is okay. But in that book, I have very well mentioned that if you run it like a proper industry, or a proper, like any other business. Like for example, when you enter a textile industry, you'll give proper focus. If you are entering a real estate industry, you will give proper focus. Even if you have a corporate office, you will always go to the site office. But in the same way, if you consider restaurant industry, if you are giving enough efforts, if you are following the parameters right, the principles are correct, hiring the right people right, doing proper due diligence, then restaurants also can become a core business, and like any other industry, it is as profitable and it is as scalable. So my main purpose was to make people aware, to people who are not from the industry, people who want to come in the industry, and people who are in the industry. For all of them, I am writing this book, and I think when I release it, everybody should have their own copy.
Now we are moving towards the most fun part of the session, which we Divyapathis like to call quick bits. Here, you have to answer the question as soon as possible. What's the favorite genre of book you often read?
Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara.
What's your most loved beverage?
I am a chai person, so definitely a lemongrass tea with a lot of mint and ginger.
What's the common mistake do the new restaurants make?
Restaurant before starting, they don't do proper planning, and they don't hire proper professionals to help them start great restaurants.
What are your thoughts on cloud kitchen?
Cloud kitchens are working very well as a small business to start with. To start the journey of restaurants, it is a nice entry point. My take.
One restaurant secret.
If I tell you, then it will no more be a secret.
If you could have dinner with any three person, who would be they?
Three people, for sure, it is Will Guidara, Narendra Modi, and of course, I love Gujarati music a lot, so Aditya Khadvi.
What is your comfort food when you just want something satisfying?
I love lot of food, lot of cuisines, but sometimes I really miss Gujarati dal bhat. So sometimes, when I'm traveling abroad or constantly tasting new food at the new restaurant launch and everything, whenever Gujarati dal is made by my wife, I feel very satisfied. I'll eat 4 or 5 bowls altogether.
What's the weirdest food combination you secretly enjoy?
Don't shut the channel, but I really enjoy eating amras and chawal.
Now we have reached to the end of this segment. Before ending this knowledgeable interaction, we would like to know, how did we do?
In fact, I should ask you that how did I fare, because you guys are young people now, you have lot of new ideas in your mind. So in fact, the question should come from me, that how did I fare? Was I good enough when I answered your questions? But when you ask me, I think you guys are fabulous. You have definitely great command over your language. You are, the school is doing a lot of efforts where you guys are developing in your talking skills, facing the camera and learning new skills from the different industry experts. I'm still not an expert. I'm trying to become an expert. Maybe a few years later I will become. But meeting a lot of different industry people, and I think it's a great job done. And I thank you so much for considering me as your person to take interview, and also your professors, teachers, and your school. Thank you so much for boarding me in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.